Okay, so you know how you're already pretty awesome at English. Like you can follow those super complex discussions and write these really nuanced emails.
Right.
But then sometimes when you're just chatting, in a casual conversation, does it ever feel like your speaking could be a bit smoother? Like a little less hesitant? Or maybe you just don't sound quite as natural as you'd like?
That's a really interesting point. A lot of people who've gotten really good at English, they reach a stage where they can understand almost everything.
Yeah.
But then they feel kind of stuck,
Yeah.
Like they can understand it all, but they don't quite sound like a native speaker when they talk.
For sure. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
Awesome.
We're going to uncover 7 really powerful strategies
Okay.
that can help you refine your spoken English, get rid of any stiffness,
Right.
and help you talk more naturally and effortlessly, just like a native speaker.
I like it.
So the first thing we're going to tackle is practicing speaking spontaneously under pressure.
Ooh, that sounds kind of scary.
I know, right? But hear me out.
Okay.
So think about it. Real fluency isn't just about knowing a ton of words. It's about being able to think and speak at the same time,
Yeah.
without overthinking or planning every word.
Like in a real conversation.
Exactly.
Huh.
And a bit of pressure can actually help you get better at this.
So how do we do that? Add some pressure.
Here's a cool exercise.
Okay.
Pick a topic, something kind of complex,
Yeah.
to get those brain juices flowing.
Like what?
Let's say, is social media ultimately helpful or harmful?
Okay. Interesting.
Set a timer for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes only.
Yep. And here's the catch. You got to start talking right away.
Oh, wow.
No planning, no outlining, no nothing.
Just go.
Exactly. Just start talking and don't stop until that timer goes off.
This sounds tough.
It is. And don't worry about making mistakes or being perfect.
Okay.
The goal is to just keep those words flowing.
Got it.
And you know what's really cool about this? It actually makes your brain work harder to remember the words and grammar you already know.
So it's like a workout for our brains.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And here's the step that might feel a little weird, but trust me, it's super helpful.
Is it?
Record yourself while you're doing this exercise.
Oh, no. I hate listening to my own voice.
I know. But it's not about judging yourself.
Right.
It's about noticing where you hesitate, where you search for the right word.
I see.
Those little stumbles that happen when we speak?
Yeah.
And then do the exercise again, maybe with the same topic or a different one.
Okay.
And you'll probably be amazed at how much smoother and faster you sound.
So it's like practicing and seeing the improvement.
Exactly. It's like training your brain to be ready for those real-life conversations.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's move on to our next tip.
Okay. Ready.
This one's about leveling up your use of filler words and natural pauses.
Wait, filler words? But I thought we were supposed to get rid of those.
I know, right? And we're always told to avoid saying, and.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Native speakers actually use filler words all the time. Yeah. But they use them strategically, Like instead of just dead air or those awkward ums.
Yeah.
They use phrases like, let me think about that for a second. Or, I'm not entirely sure, but here's my take on it.
That does sound more natural.
Right. And it gives you a moment to gather your thoughts without sounding lost.
I see your point.
And these strategic pauses and phrases, they actually help make your speech sound smoother.
Okay, so how do we get better at using these natural pauses and fillers?
One of the best ways is to pay close attention to how native speakers do it.
Like eavesdropping on their conversations.
Haha, sort of. Listen to podcasts, watch TED Talks, things like that.
Okay.
But don't just focus on the content.
Yeah.
Pay attention to how they deliver their message.
Like when and how they pause.
Exactly, and what phrases they use to connect their ideas or to stall for time.
Cool.
And try that. And here are a few phrases you can start using right away.
Yummy.
Well, to be honest, that's a really interesting question. That one buys you some thinking time. And let me rephrase that to make sure I'm being clear.
I like these.
See, it's not about speaking super fast.
Yeah.
It's about sounding confident and comfortable, even when you need a moment to think.
Right. It's about the rhythm.
Precisely. It's about making your speech sound natural with those rises and falls.
Makes sense.
Okay, ready for tip number 3?
Always.
This one's all about reframing and reformulating your ideas.
So like saying things in different ways.
Exactly. Instead of just giving a simple yes or no answer,
Yeah.
try to elaborate and add some nuance to what you're saying.
Got it.
So instead of just saying, yes, I agree, you could say something like, absolutely. And that makes me think about a broader trend that we often overlook.
Wow, that sounds so much better.
Right. It shows you're really engaged in thinking deeply about the topic.
I like it.
And here's a little challenge for you.
Hit me.
Take a simple phrase like, I enjoyed that,
Okay.
and try to say it in at least 3 different ways.
I'm a big fan of that. Or maybe that really resonated with me, or even that was surprisingly effective.
Perfect. You see, you can express the same idea in so many different ways.
And that makes you sound more fluent.
Exactly. It adds variety and makes your speech less predictable, more like a native speaker.
I'm starting to see the pattern here.
Good. Now, tip number 4 is about immersion, but with a twist.
A twist.
Yeah, it's called watch, repeat, imitate.
Sounds intense.
It is, but in a good way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So you probably already watch movies or TV shows in English, right?
Yeah, of course.
But this time we're going to do it with a specific goal in mind,
Which is?
to actively improve your speaking skills.
Ah, I see.
It's not just about understanding the story anymore.
Right.
It's about really paying attention to how native speakers talk.
Okay.
So here's the drill.
I'm ready.
First, choose a short clip, maybe 30 seconds long.
Got it.
Then listen carefully and write down exactly what the speaker said.
Exactly, like word for word.
Yep, no paraphrasing or summarizing.
Wow, this is going to be tough.
It is, but it's worth it.
Okay.
And finally, the fun part, repeat the clip out loud and try to imitate the speaker's tone and energy.
So like I'm acting.
Kinda. It's about getting those sounds and rhythms into your system.
Interesting.
And here's another tip. Choose content that aligns with your goals.
What do you mean?
Well, if you want to get better at expressing emotions, watch some drama shows.
Okay.
If you need to improve your business English, listen to podcasts or interviews.
Makes sense.
And for everyday slang and casual talk, sitcoms are your best friend.
Cool. I can definitely do that.
The key is to absorb how native speakers use the language, not just what they say.
Right. It's about the delivery.
Exactly. And by imitating them, you're training your brain to use those patterns naturally.
Like building muscle memory for speaking.
You got it. Now, are you ready for tip number 5?
Bring it on.
This one's about playing with tone, emotion, and intonation.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It is. Because, native speakers don't just say words.
Right.
They perform them.
Yeah.
They bring them to life.
Yeah. I get it.
Think about it. The same sentence can have totally different meanings depending on how you say it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Let's take a simple question. Are you serious?
Okay.
Now imagine saying it with anger, then with surprise, then with sarcasm.
Whoa. Yeah, the meaning completely changes.
Right. So here's a fun exercise for you.
I'm listening.
Record yourself saying a short sentence with different emotions.
Okay.
Like happy, sad, angry, excited,
Got it.
It might feel a little silly at first,
Uh-huh.
but it'll make you much more aware of how you use your voice.
And that's important for fluency.
Absolutely. Because native-like fluency isn't just about grammar and vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's also about being able to express yourself fully with your voice.
Emotions and all.
Exactly. All right, moving on to tip number 6.
Okay, what's next?
This one's about role-playing complex situations.
Role-playing, like actors do.
Kinda. But in this case, it's about preparing yourself for challenging conversations. So you might be pretty comfortable with everyday English, ordering food, chatting with friends.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about those tougher situations?
Like what?
Like negotiating a raise, explaining a complicated topic to someone,
Oh, yeah, those can be tricky.
or even dealing with a conflict at work.
Right.
These situations require a different level of fluency and confidence.
Yeah, sure.
So here's the challenge. Pick one of those scenarios and imagine you're actually in that moment,
Okay.
and then just start talking out loud for a couple of minutes.
Did say what?
Whatever comes to mind, as if you were really in that situation.
Like a practice run.
Exactly. For example, let's say you're practicing a salary negotiation.
Okay.
You could start by saying something like, as we discussed in my performance review, I've consistently exceeded expectations in my role, and I'm confident that my contributions have significantly benefited the team.
Wow, that sounds so professional.
Right. And the more you practice like this, the more natural and confident you'll sound when you face those situations in real life.
So it's like pre-programming my brain for success.
You got it. Now for our final tip, number 7.
I can't believe we're already on the last one.
I know time flies when you're having fun.
Right.
Okay, so this last tip is all about self-reflection, or what I like to call talking to yourself like a coach.
Talking to myself, that sounds kind of crazy.
I know, it might sound strange, but trust me, it works.
Okay, I'm willing to try anything at this point.
Good. So basically, at the end of each day, take a few minutes to ask yourself some questions out loud.
Like what kind of questions?
Things like, what did I do well in English today? What could I have said better? Or what new expression did I learn?
I never really thought about asking myself those questions before.
But it's super helpful.
Go so.
Well, it makes you more aware of your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And it helps you focus on what you need to improve.
Makes sense.
And here's a bonus tip. If you keep a journal, try speaking your entries before you write them down.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It'll help you connect your spoken and written English and make your writing sound more natural too.
Cool. I'll definitely try that.
Awesome. So do you want to do a quick practice drill together to put some of these tips into action?
Sure, I'm game.
All right, here's the topic. How has technology changed your life?
Okay.
I want you to talk for about a minute and try to use some of the techniques we've discussed.
Okay, let me think.
Like, you could start by saying something like, technology has completely revolutionized the way I live, from how I work to how I connect with people. I can't imagine life without things like instant messaging or video calls.
Okay, I think I can do that.
Great. And remember to pay attention to your tone and try to rephrase your ideas in different ways.
I'm ready.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, well, technology has definitely had a huge impact on my life. Like, I rely on it for pretty much everything these days, from staying in touch with family and friends who live far away to learning new things online, and even just for entertainment, you know? But sometimes I do feel like I'm too connected, like I need to take a break from my phone and computer every now and then. But overall, I think technology has made my life much easier and more efficient.
Awesome. See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Not at all, actually. It was kind of fun.
Good. And you did a great job of incorporating some of the tips.
Thanks.
So just to recap quickly,
Okay.
we talked about 7 powerful strategies for achieving advanced fluency.
Let's hear them.
First, practice speaking spontaneously under pressure.
Check.
Master the art of using filler words and natural pauses.
Got it.
Reframe your sentences in different ways.
For sure.
Immerse yourself actively by watching and imitating native speakers.
Doing it.
Deliberately add tone and emotion to your delivery.
Sounds good.
Simulate real-world roles through practice. And make reflective speaking a regular habit.
I will.
And remember, you've already come so far in your English journey.
Yeah, that's true.
This is just about refining those skills and becoming even more confident and fluent.
I like the sound of that.
So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace those challenges and keep practicing.
You know what? I think I'm ready to take my English to the next level.
That's the spirit. And remember, your English is powerful. Own it.
I will. Thanks for the encouragement.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Anytime.
That's it for today, folks. Keep practicing and keep speaking with confidence.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
You know, if you're here, you're probably not just starting out with English.
Right.
I mean, you've been working at it.
Right.
I imagine you have a pretty decent foundation you can get by in most situations.
Absolutely.
But
You're here for more, right?
I think so, yeah. You're listening to this because you want more.
Yeah, you want to take it to that next level.
Right.
You want to sound
Want to sound
more natural.
You're natural.
You want to sound like a native speaker.
Exactly.
You want to have that fluency.
Yeah.
That real natural, effortless flow.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today in this deep dive.
So we've got 6
Hacks.
hacks,
that's terrible.
tricks, techniques,
Strategies.
all that good stuff
Yeah.
to help you get there.
All right, so the first one we're going to be talking about is this idea of translating in your head.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
Yeah. So if you're always thinking in your native language and then translating into English, it's going to slow you down.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to make you sound less natural.
Totally.
So what we want to do is we want to retrain your brain.
Rewire it.
Yeah. Rewire it to think directly in English.
So instead of thinking in your native language and then translating, you're just thinking in English straight away.
Right.
Boom.
So how do you do that?
Well, you know, one way to kind of start to make that shift is just by describing your surroundings in English. Like wherever you are right now, just look around and start talking to yourself in English.
Like I'm sitting in a studio.
Yeah, I'm looking out the window. I see
a microphone.
Yeah, just simple things like that.
Easy, yeah.
Another good one is to debate with yourself in English.
Ooh.
So this is
I like that.
This is kind of fun.
I do that already.
You do.
Yeah. I have arguments with myself.
But you do it in English now, right?
Well, sometimes, I guess now that you mentioned, I do sometimes do it in other languages.
But try and do it in English. Because what that does is it gets you thinking about different perspectives.
Right.
And you're forced to use
Different vocabularies.
different grammatical structures.
Exactly.
And it just gets the wheels turning.
Yeah. I like that. In English.
Okay, good tip.
Another thing you can do is something called the 5-minute rule.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Have you ever tried it?
I think so. I'm not sure.
So this is where like every hour you just spend 5 minutes thinking only in English.
Okay.
No other languages allowed.
This is 5 minutes every hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can set like a reminder on your phone.
Ooh, that's enough.
Like, think in English now or something like that.
Time to think in English.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
And then also, try to actually use English to like solve problems or make decisions throughout your day.
Okay.
So like, for example, if you're trying to decide what to have for lunch, instead of, thinking about it in your native language and then translating, just think, what do I want for lunch?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of in the mood for a salad.
Yeah, maybe a salad.
Or maybe a sandwich.
A sandwich sounds good.
Yeah.
Right, so you're just making those decisions in English.
Right.
So by doing all of this, you're basically training your brain
Yes.
to process information in English more and more automatically.
And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Right. And eventually it'll just become second nature.
Awesome.
Okay, so hack number 2 is all about pronunciation.
Okay.
Now you might think, okay, I've got pronunciation down.
Yeah.
People understand me.
Right.
But
do you sound like a native speaker?
yeah, do you really sound natural?
Right.
And one of the best ways to improve your pronunciation and to really sound more natural is to use a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yes.
What is that?
So shadowing is where you basically listen to a native English speaker
Okay.
and you repeat what they say.
Oh, so I'm like their shadow.
Yeah, you're like their shadow. So you're not just listening passively. You're actively repeating and you're trying to imitate
Their pronunciation.
their intonation,
Okay.
their rhythm,
I see.
everything.
So I can shadow you right now?
You can shadow me.
Can I?
Good.
So I'm like your shadow.
Yeah.
So I'm like their shadow.
You're like their shadow.
Okay, got it.
But try to do it at the same time.
Oh, okay. So at the same time, so I'm like their shadow.
We're like their shadow.
You're like their shadow.
You like their shadow.
Okay, I think I'm getting it.
Yeah, you're getting there.
It's hard.
It is hard, but it's really effective.
Okay.
And you can shadow anything.
Okay.
You can shadow podcasts.
So that talks.
TED Talks, audiobooks, movies.
This deep dive.
This deep dive.
Okay, cool.
And then you can also combine shadowing with something called speed training.
Speed training.
Yes.
So I'm going fast.
So basically you're just reading out loud,
Okay.
but you're reading faster than your comfortable pace.
Oh, okay. So I'm pushing myself
You're pushing
to
yourself
go faster
to go faster
than I normally would.
than you normally would. And it feels a little bit uncomfortable at first,
Yeah, probably.
but it helps you to train your mouth muscles
Oh, okay.
and your brain
To move faster.
to move faster, to process things faster, and to produce the sounds more quickly.
Yeah, that's that.
So, some good ways to practice this are using movie scripts. You can act out scenes,
Go ahead.
try to keep up with the actors.
Okay.
You can also record yourself reading something
Uh-huh.
and then listen back to it
Okay.
and compare it to a native speaker reading the same thing.
Okay.
So you can really hear where you need to improve.
Yeah, great tip.
Okay, hack number 3 is all about grammar.
Grammar,
Yes?
everyone's favorite.
I know it can be a little bit dry.
But important.
It is important.
It is.
And even at an advanced level, you might find that you're still making the same small mistakes over and over again.
Oh, yeah, those little things that just keep tripping you up.
Exactly. So one of the best ways to get rid of these mistakes is to use a technique called error tracking.
Error tracking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a really good way to do error tracking is to keep an error journal.
An error journal.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those.
You should.
I do.
It's basically just a notebook where you write down every time you make a mistake.
Okay, so every time I make a mistake, I write it down.
Every time.
Okay.
And then you write the correct version next to it.
Oh, okay, so I can see the mistake and I can see how to correct it.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And then what you do is you review your error journal regularly.
Regularly?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you practice saying the correct sentences out loud
Out loud
until they become automatic.
until they become natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're basically training your brain.
To recognize the correct patterns.
Yeah.
Oh.
And to produce them without even thinking about it.
Got it.
And a really good tip here is to ask a tutor or a native speaker to listen to you speak and to point out any mistakes that they notice.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't even realize we're making mistakes,
Right.
especially if they're small mistakes.
Yeah, and those small mistakes can make a big difference.
They can.
Yeah.
So by focusing on those small mistakes and really getting rid of them,
You can improve your fluency a lot.
you can.
Yeah. Okay, I like this error journal idea.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm going to start doing that.
Okay, so hack number 4 is all about vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Now, you probably already know a lot of words,
Right.
but do you know how to use them naturally?
Ah, that's the key, isn't it?
That's the key.
It's not just about knowing the words.
Yeah.
It's about knowing how to use them.
It's about knowing how to use them correctly.
Correctly and naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
Like a native speaker.
Like a native speaker.
Okay.
So one of the best ways to do this is to learn collocations.
Collocations.
Yes.
What are those?
Collocations are words that go together naturally.
Okay.
So, for example,
Give me an example.
you would say, make a decision,
Make a decision.
not do a decision.
Not do a decision.
Right. Even though both of those words technically mean the same thing.
Make and do.
Yeah.
Okay, but make a decision sounds more natural.
It sounds more natural.
Okay.
And that's because it's a collocation.
Oh, I see.
So native speakers just automatically know these collocations
Right.
because they've been exposed to them their whole lives, so they don't have to think about it.
It just sounds right.
It just sounds right.
Okay.
But as English learners, we have to make a conscious effort to learn these collocations.
Okay. So how do we do that?
Well, one way is to use a collocation dictionary.
A collocation dictionary.
Yeah,
Is that a real thing?
it's a real thing.
Wow.
You can find them online or you can buy them.
Okay.
And they basically just list all the words that commonly go together.
Okay.
So you can look up a word,
Uh-huh.
then it'll show you all the other words that it often collocates with.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then another good way to learn collocations is to just pay attention when you're reading or listening to English
Okay.
and notice which words tend to go together.
So just be more aware.
Yeah, just be more aware.
Okay.
And then you can also try to use those collocations in your own speaking and writing.
Okay. So make a conscious effort.
Yeah,
Use them.
to use them.
Okay.
And then in addition to collocations, there are also idioms,
Idioms.
which are kind of like collocations, but they're a little bit more complex.
Okay.
So idioms are phrases
Mm.
that have a figurative meaning
Okay.
that's different from the literal meaning of the words.
So the meaning is not obvious
Not
from the individual words.
Yeah, okay.
So for example,
Give me an example.
the idiom kick the bucket
Kick the bucket.
means to die.
Woo!
But if you just looked at the words kick and bucket,
You wouldn't know that it meant to die.
you wouldn't know that it meant to die.
Okay, so idioms are tricky.
They can be tricky.
Yeah. But they're also really important
Why?
because they're used all the time in natural English.
Oh.
So if you want to sound like a native speaker,
I need to learn idioms.
you need to learn idioms.
Okay.
And the best way to learn idioms is in context.
In context.
Yeah, so by reading and listening to a lot of English
Say.
and paying attention to how idioms are used,
Got it.
and then you can also try to use them yourself in your own speaking and writing.
Okay.
Okay, so hack number 5 is all about conversation skills.
Conversation skills.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you might know a lot of grammar,
Right.
you might have a big vocabulary,
Yeah.
but when it comes to actually having a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
you might freeze up.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I know what to say in my head, but then when I try to say it out loud,
It just doesn't come out,
yeah,
or it comes out all wrong.
exactly.
So what can you do about that?
Well,
One thing you can do is to practice having conversations with
Yeah.
yourself,
with myself. So like talking to the mirror.
talking to the mirror,
Okay.
or just talking out loud to no one in particular.
Okay.
And you can practice different scenarios.
Scenarios.
Yeah, like imagine that you're
At a restaurant.
at a restaurant ordering food,
Okay.
or imagine that you're at a job interview,
Uh-huh.
or imagine that you're just meeting someone for the first time,
Okay.
and practice what you would say in those situations.
So kind of like role playing.
Yeah, you're role playing.
Okay.
And the more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
When the real situation happens.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can also record yourself
Oh, yeah.
and then listen back to it.
So I can hear how I sound.
So you can hear how you sound
Okay.
and you can identify any areas where you need to improve.
Yeah, like if I'm hesitating a lot
Yeah,
or if I'm using the wrong words.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So hack number 6 is all about immersion.
Immersion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So immersion is basically just surrounding yourself with English as much as possible.
So like living in an English-speaking country.
That's the best way to do it.
But I can't do that.
I know, but you can still create an immersive environment for yourself,
Even if I don't live in an English-speaking country.
even if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
Okay.
So there are all sorts of things you can do.
Like what?
You can listen to English music.
Yeah.
You can watch English movies and TV shows.
Huh.
You can read English books and articles.
Okay.
You can talk to English speakers online.
Yeah.
You can even change the language on your phone and computer to English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So just make English a part of your daily life.
As much as possible.
As much as possible.
Okay.
And the more you do it, the more natural it will become.
And the more fluent I'll become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
6 hacks
6 hacks for advanced English learners.
to improve their fluency.
And remember,
That.
the key is to be consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Practice every day.
Practice every day.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
And you'll get there.
You'll get there.
I believe in you.
And just one last thing.
What?
Don't be afraid to push yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Okay.
Like, try talking to native speakers.
Even if I'm nervous.
Even if you're nervous.
Okay.
Try watching movies without subtitles.
Ooh, that's hard.
I know it's hard,
But I'll try.
but it's good for you.
Okay.
And, just keep challenging yourself
Yeah.
to use English in new and different ways.
I like it.
So, for example, how do you usually practice English?
Well, I like to listen to podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
And I also try to talk to native speakers whenever I get the chance.
That's great.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's good practice.
It is good practice.
And what about you?
Well, I like to read books and articles in English.
Mm-hmm.
And I also try to watch movies and TV shows without subtitles.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is tough, but it's really helpful.
It is.
All right, so that's it for this deep dive.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
And I hope you learned something new.
I learned a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions or comments,
Or any suggestions for future deep dives.
yeah, definitely let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And until next time,
Happy English learning.
keep practicing.
And stay fluent.
Bye for now. All right, welcome to the deep dive. You know why you're here, right? To get smart fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We take a mountain of info and dig out the gold. Today's gold mine. 50. Count 'em. 50. Advanced English words.
All neatly sorted by topic, so no matter what you're into, you'll find something.
That'll make you sound like a total pro. We're going way beyond just, dry dictionary definitions.
Think of it as your express lane to fluency.
We're going to dive deep into how to use these words in everyday life.
And in the professional world, too, we're talking productivity hacks.
Business smarts, tech talk, money matters.
Even, get this, how to understand your own emotions better.
All with these 50 powerhouse words.
Which, by the way, we've pulled from a resource made for advanced English learners.
Meaning, it's designed to help you grasp all the subtle shades of meaning.
We'll break it down category by category.
Giving you examples so you can see exactly how these words work in action.
Our mission,
Simple.
to give you a rock-solid understanding of these words.
And why they matter.
So, ready to dive in?
Let's go.
First up, a topic that hits home for all of us. Productivity and time management.
Oh yeah, time, the ultimate treasure. This is something we all grapple with every single day.
And the better we understand these words, the more we can, master our time, right?
Totally. Our source lays out 10 essential terms. Let's kick things off with efficient.
Okay, efficient. What's the official word?
The definition is doing things in the best way with the least waste.
Like, I use an efficient time management system.
Boom, right there.
I feel like that word efficient, it pops up everywhere. From how factories run to just getting your errands done quickly.
Yeah, it's all about that balance, right? Max output, min input.
You know what comes to mind? That whole Pareto principle.
80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
Exactly. So being efficient is like zeroing in on that powerful 20%.
Love that connection.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that can suck up our time, let's move on to something I'm sure we're all familiar with, procrastination.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Definition, delay doing something.
Right.
Example.
Let me guess. I always procrastinate on big projects.
Bingo. Human nature right there.
Oh, so human. We all know that feeling. Putting off the big, scary task, even though it just makes things worse later on.
There's got to be a reason for it though, right?
Well, psychologists talk about this thing called present bias.
Like we value what feels good now more than future reward.
Which explains why we end up scrolling through social media instead of tackling that report.
Which then forces us to, what's the word? Oh yeah, prioritize. Our next term.
Prioritize, definition.
Focus on the most important things first.
So I need to prioritize my tasks today.
Exactly. Simple idea, but game-changing when you actually put it into practice.
100%. And maybe, just maybe, if we're good at prioritizing, we won't have to,
multitask so much.
multitask. That's the word.
It means, well, the definition says do multiple things at the same time.
She can multitask while working on her reports? Sure, sounds amazing.
Except, here's the thing. Studies show that true multitasking is, well, kind of a myth.
Wait, really?
Yep. Most of the time, what we're doing is rapidly switching between tasks.
And every time we switch, it costs us focus and efficiency.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So ironically, trying to juggle too many things at once might make you less
Productive.
That's the one, meaning getting a lot done.
I had a very productive morning. Makes you think. Maybe focusing on your top priorities and ditching the multitasking frenzy actually leads to better results.
Now you're talking. And if you do manage to become super productive, there might come a point where you need to
Delegate.
delegate it is
Definition.
to assign work to others,
As in, a good leader knows how to delegate tasks.
which means recognizing that you can't do it all yourself.
So true. Trying to be a superhero just leads to feeling
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Yep. Meaning feeling stressed with too much work.
I feel overwhelmed with my responsibilities. Been there. It's a sign, though. A sign that something's got to change.
Like maybe how you're prioritizing.
Oh, what you need to delegate. See how these words, they all kind of connect, you know? It's a cycle.
Poor prioritizing leads to overwhelm, which then makes it hard to be productive.
Whereas effective delegation and focus help you accomplish
What's the definition?
to successfully complete something.
I accomplished all my goals this year. That feeling.
The best. And when you consistently nail those accomplishments,
You're on your way to a healthy?
work-life balance,
That's the one. Beating.
the right mix between work and personal life.
As in, maintaining work-life balance is important for mental health. Finding that sweet spot, you know.
It's a constant dance for sure. So you see, these productivity and time management words, they're not just words.
They're like concepts that shape how we live our lives.
They really are. Makes you think, right?
Yeah.
How many of these terms hit a nerve for you in your own daily grind?
Now let's switch gears and head into the world of business and all things professional.
A whole new playing field. And mastering these words,
Can really make a difference, whether you're running your own show.
or climbing the corporate ladder,
Absolutely. This vocabulary is all about understanding how organizations work.
and communicating effectively.
So what's our first word in this category?
Let's start with entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Love that word.
Definition: a person who starts a business.
He became an entrepreneur at 22.
That's the dream for a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah. The entrepreneurial spirit is definitely having a moment.
To thrive in that world, though, you got to be
Innovative.
innovative. You got it. Meaning introducing new ideas.
The company is known for its innovative technology. That ability to think outside the box is pure gold in today's fast-changing landscape.
Couldn't agree more. And sometimes those new ideas need a little
Negotiation.
negotiation,
Definition.
discussion to reach an agreement.
Nailed it. The example sentence is,
The salary negotiation went well.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, doesn't it? Whether it's about money, resources, or deadlines, being able to negotiate win-win solutions,
Is crucial in any professional setting.
for sure. And you know what else helps? Being
Sweetie.
strategic. Strategic. Meaning, let's see, well-planned for success.
So like we need a strategic approach to marketing.
Right. It's about having that long-term vision,
Thinking several steps ahead.
like a chess game. Then there's the whole world of
Networking.
networking, such a buzzword.
But so important. What's the official definition?
Meeting people for business or career growth.
Networking is essential for career success. Couldn't agree more. Expanding your circle.
Making those connections that benefit everyone.
It's all about building relationships. But, you know, when you're out there networking,
I gotta show them.
you're
Competent,
competent indeed.
meaning
Skilled and capable.
as in she is a competent project manager,
Demonstrating your skills builds that trust.
and credibility.
Exactly. But even if you're super competent, sometimes you need to be, well, a little
Persuasive.
persuasive is the word. Definition.
To be convincing others.
Like his speech was very persuasive. Being persuasive is all about understanding your audience.
Tailoring your message so it really lands with them.
You can't just have a strong opinion.
You also gotta be,
Analytical.
that's another key one,
Meaning
using logic and reasoning.
he has strong analytical skills. Being able to break down complex problems.
And make data-driven decisions. That's highly valued in the business world.
No doubt. And you know what else employers love?
Someone with initiative.
Yeah.
Taking action without being told.
So she showed great initiative in solving the issue.
Being proactive. Going above and beyond. That's what stands out.
For sure. And then, at the end of the day, For many businesses,
It all boils down to being
client-focused,
client-focused.
prioritizing customers' needs.
Our company is very client-focused. It's all about the customer.
Happy customers, happy business. So this whole set of business and professional terms, it really paints a picture, doesn't it?
Of what's valued in the workplace. Totally. Mastering these words gives you a real edge in navigating that world. Which situations in your own work life make you think about these words the most?
Now, hold on to your hats. We're zooming into the lightning-fast world of technology and all things digital.
A world where the language is constantly evolving.
Staying up to date with the vocab here is basically essential for understanding, well, modern life.
It's the key to not feeling like a dinosaur. Let's kick things off with a big one.
Algorithm.
Algorithm. What does it mean?
It's a step-by-step set of rules for solving problems.
Social media platforms use algorithms to show content. But it's important to remember that different algorithms
You can have different goals. Some might prioritize showing you the latest and greatest.
while others try to guess what you'll find most engaging, even if it's old news.
Fascinating. And with so much of our lives now playing out online,
Cybersecurity becomes crucial.
cybersecurity. Definition.
Protecting computers from hacking.
Cybersecurity is essential for online businesses. It's like the digital security guard.
Keeping our information safe from all those nasty threats. Malware, phishing attempts.
The whole shebang. Then, of course, there's the ever-expanding world of
Artificial intelligence or AI.
AI. That's the one everyone's talking about.
Definition. Machines that think like humans.
AI is revolutionizing many industries, from self-driving cars to, believe it or not, medical diagnoses.
It's mind-blowing how fast it's evolving. And a lot of this tech relies on
Cloud computing.
cloud computing. Definition.
Storing data on the internet.
Most companies use cloud computing for storage. It's like having this massive shared online space,
Accessible from anywhere.
which leads to a data-driven approach,
Data-driven. What does that mean?
making decisions based on facts and numbers.
We use a data-driven approach for marketing. Makes sense. We're swimming in data these days.
Being able to analyze it and use it to make smart choices
It's more important than ever. But here's the thing. All this digital activity,
leaves behind a
digital footprint,
digital footprint. It is. Definition.
the online record of someone's activities.
Your digital footprint can affect job opportunities. Food for thought. Right.
Big time.
Right.
What we do online can have real-world consequences.
Absolutely. Another huge force in the digital world is
Automation.
automation. What does it mean?
Using technology to do tasks without humans.
Automation improves efficiency in factories.
Streamlining processes, reducing the need for manual labor, especially in those repetitive tasks.
It's changing the game across so many industries.
And then, of course, there's how we consume entertainment these days. Through
Streaming.
definition.
Watching videos or music online without downloading.
So I prefer streaming movies instead of downloading them.
It's all about that instant access.
On-demand entertainment.
Right.
And let's not forget the giant elephant in the digital room.
E-commerce.
E-commerce. Definition.
Buying and selling online.
E-commerce has changed the way we shop. It's transformed retail.
Brought a whole new level of convenience. But to keep all those online transactions safe. Encryption,
Encryption, yep.
meaning
Protecting information by converting it into code.
banking apps use encryption for security. Scrambling our data so only the right people can read it.
So, you see, this tech and digital vocabulary,
It's not just about keeping up with the latest gadgets.
it's about understanding the fundamental shifts happening all around us.
Being a savvy citizen of the digital age, which of these tech terms pops up most often in your world?
Now, let's talk about something that affects us all every single day. Shopping and finance.
Money matters. And knowing these words can really help you make smarter choices with your cash.
Absolutely. First up, we've got
Disposable income,
disposable income.
meaning money left after paying expenses.
As in, I use my disposable income for travel.
Knowing how much you have left after the bills are paid.
Is the cornerstone of budgeting and financial planning.
The foundation of it all.
Yeah.
Of course, what you can actually buy with that disposable income.
To be affected by
Inflation.
inflation. Yep. Meaning,
The increase in prices over time.
like, inflation has made everything more expensive. It's crazy how much prices have gone up.
There are actually different types of inflation.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, you've got demand pull inflation, where too much money's chasing too few goods.
Which drives prices up.
And then there's cost push inflation, where rising production costs get passed on to us consumers.
So it's like a double whammy. Once you've got a handle on your disposable income, you might think about
Investment?
investment, meaning
Putting money into something to gain profit.
as in real estate is a good investment.
But there are all sorts of investments out there.
Stocks, bonds, you name it.
Understanding how they work is key for long-term financial growth.
And don't forget about interest rates.
Interest rates. That's
The
the
cost of borrowing money.
interest rates are rising this year, which affects everything.
Mortgages, business loans, you name it.
If you're trying to free up more disposable income for investing, you might consider being more
Frugal,
frugal. I like that word.
it means careful about spending money. I live a frugal lifestyle to save money, making conscious choices.
Being mindful of where your money goes and when you do spend.
It's always good to know if something is
Refundable.
refundable. Definition.
Can be returned for money back.
This item is refundable within 30 days.
Gives you a bit of a safety net. Then, every time you buy something, you're making a
Transaction.
transaction. Yep.
Definition.
An exchange of money.
Online transactions are becoming more common.
Cash, digital payments, so many ways to move money around these days. Now, sometimes the whole economy hits a rough patch. What do we call that?
A recession.
Recession, meaning
A period of economic decline.
the country is facing a recession. It can affect jobs, business profits.
The whole picture. For those who are into investing, understanding
Stock market is essential.
stock market, that's where
You buy and sell shares of publicly traded companies.
little pieces of big businesses.
Exactly. And as the saying goes, the stock market is unpredictable.
No kidding. Finally, for businesses, a crucial metric is
Revenue,
revenue, meaning
money earned by a business.
our company's revenue increased by 20% this year. That's the money coming in before any expenses.
The lifeblood of any business. So as you can see, these shopping and finance words,
They give us a glimpse into the inner workings of both personal finance.
and the broader economy.
It all connects. Thinking about your own finances, which of these terms has the biggest impact on your day-to-day decisions? Okay, last but certainly not least, we're diving into the fascinating world of emotions and personal development.
Understanding ourselves and how we relate to others.
This is where it gets really interesting. What's our first word in this category?
Let's start with resilient.
Resilient. Love that word.
It means able to recover from difficulties.
Like she is very resilient after facing challenges.
Being able to bounce back from setbacks. That's a key ingredient for growth.
No doubt. And a powerful tool for navigating those ups and downs is
Mindfulness.
mindfulness.
Yeah.
Definition.
Being aware of the present moment.
Practicing mindfulness helps reduce stress. It's about being present.
Without judgment.
And right alongside mindfulness, we have
Self-awareness.
self-awareness, meaning
Understanding yourself.
self-awareness is key to personal growth.
Yeah.
Knowing your strengths, weaknesses, values, those emotional triggers.
It's foundational for making positive changes. Now, when it comes to connecting with others,
Being charismatic can be a real advantage.
charismatic. Definition.
Attracting people with personality.
He is a charismatic speaker. It's that magnetic quality that draws people in.
For sure. But charisma isn't everything. For truly meaningful connections.
You need empathy.
Empathy.
Definition.
Understanding others' feelings.
Good leaders show empathy for their team. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Seeing the world through their eyes. That's powerful.
It really is. And you know what else can have a big impact on our well-being?
Gratitude.
Gratitude it is.
Meaning thankfulness.
Practicing gratitude improves happiness.
Appreciating the good things in life, both big and small.
It can really shift your perspective. Now, on the flip side,
Sometimes we get stuck in the trap of
overthinking.
overthinking. Definition.
Thinking too much about something.
I tend to overthink decisions. Been there? The key is recognizing when you're spiraling.
And then finding ways to break free, of course, to achieve our big goals.
We need a healthy dose of
Ambition.
ambition, meaning
Having big goals.
like she is ambitious and wants to be CEO, setting your sights high.
And going for it. But ambition without
Authenticity.
can lead you astray.
Authenticity
Being
meaning
real and genuine.
as in people appreciate authentic leaders. Being true to yourself.
Aligning your actions with your values.
Because that's what builds trust. And finally, we have
Intuitive.
Intuitive, definite.
Understanding things without explanation.
She has an intuitive sense of people's emotions, that gut feeling.
The instinct that goes beyond logic. So, you see, this whole realm of emotions and personal development
It gives us tools to understand our inner world.
and our relationships with others.
It's a journey of self-discovery. Which of these words resonates most deeply with you right now on your own personal journey? Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into these 50 advanced vocabulary words.
We've covered so much ground, from getting things done to the complexities of the business world
The ever-evolving landscape of technology, the ins and outs of finance.
and the rich tapestry of human emotions.
You're now equipped to use these words with precision and confidence,
To communicate your ideas more effectively.
to navigate the world with greater awareness and understanding. As you reflect on this deep dive, ask yourself,
Which words were completely new to you?
and which ones gave you a fresh perspective?
A new way of seeing things. Now, for our final thought.
Something to ponder as you go about your day.
Imagine this. How might consciously weaving even a few of these words into your everyday vocabulary,
Change the way you perceive the world.
the way you interact with others?
The power of language is truly transformative.
More than you might think.